talk a lot about turning dials, and today I have two for you guys. If you are someone who maneuvers on a very logical plane, meaning you're always trying to fix things, right? The next time you come across anxiety or conflict, I want you to, instead of thinking about it and analyzing it, dissecting it, drawing little charts and graphs and a point system, I want you to instead turn your dial from think to feel and just be aware of how it makes you feel. So whether it's an argument or whatever is going on, I just want you to know how you feel about it and to accept and validate that. And most people are going to say, what's the point? It gets nothing done. Here's the point. If you don't have a habit of doing that and you're just going to be a computer, you're turning yourself into a robot, right? So the muscle I would like for you to exercise is to be aware and accept and validate how you feel. Because if you can't validate your feelings, you can't expect your wife, husband, boyfriend, parents to, So it starts with you. Start soaking in your feelings and just be aware of what you're feeling and try to stretch that. That's one dial. The other dial is if you are someone that is constantly forgetting. And what I mean by forgetting doesn't have to do with memory. Forgetting in the sense that if you come across conflict, events, things that have happened to you, and you tend to sweep things under the rug because you don't want to deal with it instead of confronting and forgiving. So if you feel yourself wanting to forget, sweep something under that rug, then turn your dial to forgive. And forgiveness sometimes means to confront, and I don't mean confront like get into a fight, come at someone with a sword. I mean confront meaning a healthy conversation, expressing yourself. These two dials kind of go hand in hand because in order to express yourself, you have to know how you feel about a certain situation, right? So if you turn your dial from thinking to feeling, right, and then you're aware of how you feel, and then you turn your dial from forget to forgive, and part of forgiving means to confront and confront in a healthy way, then you take your feelings and you express them. Do you see how this works? And what you are doing in this process is you are building yourself a safe container. And in a safe container, there's growth. If you don't do this process, your container is cracked. You don't have that force field. It's hard for you to grow. You go back to dysfunctional patterns, and there's, you start throwing chairs, and nothing gets resolved, and you're angry at people, and you hold resentment. You know that saying that if you anger and resentment and holding stuff like that is like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. There's truth to that. You will carry a lot. You actually, if you are always angry and if you can't forgive, okay, you're not gonna have a life. You're gonna have a hunchback. You're gonna be like my mom. My mom's like this. She's like a rock. Well, she's more like that because she had to carry pails of water growing up, because she grew up in a town with no running water, and this has nothing to do with anything. But if you don't forgive and if you don't exercise your forgiveness muscles, you will be carrying a lot, okay? You will be drinking that poison. And a lot of people don't forgive because they see forgiveness as losing. They see forgiveness as weak. But it's actually strength. If you don't forgive, you're the one that's going to be weak, because the person that has to carry this is you. So, and forgiveness sometimes means involving someone else, and sometimes forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person, right? There may be no way of you going to control so much, so the person may not be in your life, or the person may not want a communication with you. So forgiveness then may mean the person may not even be alive. So the forgiveness may then mean something that a process that you go through on your own. But it is a valuable muscle. And so here's the other thing. Okay, let's put all this together, guys. Come on. If you're able to feel, right, then you take that feeling and then you're able to express that. And then you're able to, instead of forget, you're able to forgive. Just those tools alone is huge. Those two tools alone can break patterns and change your life. It could lead to healthier relationships, tremendous growth, and ultimately you being happier. So, Turn your dials to today. What was the hell? I'm getting old. Turn forgiveness. No. Turn thinking into feeling. When you start pulling out those charts, right? You turn that to feeling and soak in that, and then if you feel like sweeping things under the rug, turn forgetting into forgiving. Whew.